Joining us now in New York, Tamara, an attorney who hosts the online Fox show Sports Court, and a Fox News contributor. Guy Benson, political editor at Town Hall here in Washington, also a Fox News contributor. Guy, does the coverage have this tone? President Obama picked a moderate, a centrist, in Merrick Garland, a guy who prosecuted the Oklahoma City bombing case, but Republicans won't even deign to give him a hearing.
It does. Although the thing, Howie, that strikes me most about the coverage of this story is how muted it is compared to what I think it normally would be in a political cycle like this. I think in any presidential campaign, perhaps except for this one, a Supreme Court vacancy and an appointment by the president, by a lame duck president or whomever, would be a blockbuster.
It would dominate.
It would dominate, but it's not. It's like a second or third level story because of the Trump factor, certainly. And also, I think the timing with the NCAA tournament, Americans just aren't tuning into this the way that they might in a normal circumstance.
Wow, blown up by March Madness. Tamara, do you see much of this tone in the coverage? Democrats and Republicans are both hypocritical on this question. They've constantly changed their positions depending on which party controls the White House.
Well, I just want to point out to Guy's position that this is muted. It's far from muted. What's going on here, if you compare the Bork nomination, July 1st of 1963, the coverage was all about Bork and whether he was too far right, his position on abortion, his position on Watergate. And now what we're seeing with the media is strictly a political issue, a political tug of war. Everybody's fighting over the football. You have the Broncos and the Patriots, and you don't even realize if the football is deflated or not. That's what's going on here, and it's really unfortunate because the words that the media is using are war, battle, and this is not a political issue. The Constitution specifically says that the president shall nominate and the Senate shall confirm. This isn't about going to war. I don't see any Second Amendment issues in here.
Guy.
That's actually not what the Constitution says. It says that the Senate has the advice and consent role, which can include, under the Constitution, refraining or declining to confirm the nominee and to withhold that consent. But that's the political angle on this. I think you misunderstand, Tamara, my point about the muted coverage. I'm not saying that the language doesn't get punched up occasionally. Of course it does. It's a sensationalized media environment. I'm arguing that compared to what this story would be from a political standpoint, the degree to which it would be covered as a bombshell story is less so in this cycle than it otherwise might be.
Tamara, let me jump in here and ask you, would the coverage look very different if Republicans had waited, Merrick Garland got nominated, and then they came out with whatever they don't like about his record, Second Amendment, you name it, as opposed to Mitch McConnell and company declaring in advance that anybody that President Obama sent up would not even get so much as a hearing?
Well, I think that the media has been derelict in their duties on both sides. You have NPR, for example, a few hours ago. They covered it as what Grassley, one of his phone calls to supporters was that because the Senate, the Republicans won the Senate, that now Obama doesn't basically have any rights. Like, forget that we even have a president. And instead of the media covering it as an issue, as to what it is, a face value issue, they're covering this political war of the the shirts and the skins.
Let me read you, Guy, a news story lead from Politico. Senate Democrats are preparing a national pressure campaign aimed at blunting Republicans' stubborn opposition to Merrick Garland's nomination to the Supreme Court. Any thoughts on that? And again, this question I raise where we have videotape comments from Republicans in the past saying there should be a vote when a Republican is in the White House, from Democrats in the past saying there shouldn't be a vote when a Republican is in the White House.
No, there is just hackery and partisanship on both sides on this issue. It's the ultimate partisan fight a lot of the time. I think that there would be a different tone with a Republican in office. I think we'd be hearing a lot more about the lame duck president.
Wait, what's the hackery on the left? I don't understand. With all due respect, I don't understand what the hackery on the left is. That we have a sitting president who nominated and did his job.
Okay, I appreciate
a guy that the people on the right have previously supported, by the way.
Go ahead.
I appreciate the interruption, and I will answer your question regardless, which is the hackery on the left is Joe Biden making every single Republican point that they're currently making back in 1992, Chuck Schumer, Harry Reid doing the same during the Bush administration, Barack Obama in the Senate filibustering Sam Alito. There are plenty of double standards here. There's your answer, Tamara.
And Mitch McConnell, the same thing.
Right.
Tamara, I've got about a half a minute for response.
Whatever happened in the past, that's like if you wanted me right now to blame Bush for all of this. I'm not going to go there. This is an issue not about 92 and Biden. This is an issue about the fact that we have a president, and I don't particularly care if he's a president who's a Republican or a Democrat. He's a sitting president,
Tamara.
and he has the job to appoint and nominate somebody for the Supreme Court who both sides previously liked, and that's
right,
what
Tamara.
the media. Your question was the media should cover it that way.
One sentence answer. Are you disappointed in the media coverage of this Supreme Court nomination?
I disappointed?
Yes.
I always disappoint.
All right, so then you have more reason to be disappointed because it's a typical Washington issue where there'll be all these debates, but it looks like the Republicans are not going to budge. Great to see you both. Tamara Holder, Guy Benson here in Washington.